Today we're going to be ranking all the Five Nights at Freddy's games in this tier list. Now the tier list goes from perfect, great, could be better, or awful. We have all the Five Nights at Freddy's games that are official, including Into the Pit, Help Wanted 2, and Fnaf World. Comment below if there's any games that should be added on here that are official. We're not including the troll games. Let's start with Fnaf 1. Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the game that started it all from Scott Cawthon. To me, perfect tier. It's nostalgic, it is the great gameplay, and also started everything that will begin the whole Five Nights at Freddy's franchise in the first place. So the first game is still going to be the best, the office atmosphere and everything. So that's why Five Nights at Freddy's 1 will be in the perfect tier list. I've also played on the Switch too, so keep an eye out if I want to do more of that. Now, the next one on the list, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's a very good game. It also adds more challenges with the music box and even learned about the annoying animatronics. Granted, all the animatronics are pretty good unless it's Balloon Boy and JJ. No offense, they are annoying. But despite that, however, once again, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is in the perfect tier along Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The next one on the list is Five Nights at Freddy's 3. This one might interest you guys a little because it would appear that it is a good game that only focuses on one animatronic, which is Springtrap. And despite that, however, they actually introduced Phantoms and introduced a lore where it was not done by Fazbear Entertainment. A little bit more detail to add on to that. Despite that, it's still a good game. It's under the great tier. Some would say it's one of the worst Five Nights at Freddy games, but I think it's okay. The next one is the scariest Five Nights at Freddy game ever. Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Because it's no longer the office atmosphere like 1, 2, and 3, but rather it is more of the atmosphere of being in a child's bedroom and a child's mind. So, with that said, you have to take into consideration what's going on in their heads. But despite that, it is still not perfect, 100%. It's very great though, which is why it's in the great tier. Now, coming up next was something that was completely new that no one expected. Sister Location. This is when Scott Cawthon really went all out on the Click Team Fusion, which is what they use for every single game, all the way to Ultimate Custom Night. But then they went at Help Wanted, and even Linux, Security Breach, and even have all gone, and other games have all gone to different developers and game software to make it. So, with that said though, Sister Location has had was pretty good. It also introduced more challenges, but it was the first game to have more than one ending. Now, some would say I'm skipping over Fnaf World. We'll get to that after. But despite, I'm not a fan of multiple endings, so I am going to put it under the great tier. The next one was I'm going to bring up before I go to Fnaf 6's Fnaf World. Now, you guys might tell me I should have put this before Sister Location, but reality is, though, I'm just going by order that I could put up and Five Nights at Freddy's 1 to 5. But Fnaf World, I'm sorry, it was not a good game. It was an attempt to bring more of the kids and everything. So Fnaf World, it is not awful, but it goes under the tier. You guys might say it's a good family-friendly game for the kids and everything, but personally, though, if I had to say otherwise, I wouldn't even consider it at all. Now, let's finally go into the beginning of the downfall of Five Nights at Freddy's before it rose up again. This is Freddy's Pizza Simulator. You can find it on the Switch and the Android and all that. But unfortunately, though, it was not something I agree with. Granted, there was still this scary, spooky element of the games itself. But unfortunately, though, and I had to be brutal here, despite its attempts to bring more of an audience that is more younger and kid-friendly, it could have been better. But the multiple endings, once again, was a big factor. It's still not awful, but it goes under the tier. Now, before everything went to Steel Wool and everything else, there were two games that also came into play. Ultimate Custom Night and Fnaf AR. Now, I'm going to say this. You already know where I'm going to put one of them already. Ultimate Custom Night basically brings a game where you had to play as multiple animatronics and try to survive. And then you got to try to play for 4 minutes and 30 seconds to survive, including beating the ultimate 50-20 mode. With that said, however, and I've seen people beat it, it still could be better. So it's going to be under the could be better tier because all it is just an arcade style game of you trying to survive. We're going down to Fnaf AR. I don't think I need to say anymore. I have experience playing the game myself before I got shut down, and to me, it deserved to be shut down. It was basically attempting to bring Five Nights at Freddy's into the kids' world and everything, but they did a horrible job doing it. It was like Pokemon Go in a sense. So unfortunately though, it's going to be something that I don't really like to do, but it goes under the awful tier. Now once again, Five Nights at Freddy's decided to go down the business route, which included the tier for FNAF Pizza Simulator. Help Wanted brings a business simulator first, but it still brings the challenges of even playing the game itself. With that said, however, Help Wanted could be better though if they stop trying to pander to children. So it goes under the could be better tier for the safety. Now we're kind of slowly beginning to grind down. I know some might be asking about Security Breach Ruin, but technically, same with Dread Bear, it's under the DLC. So I can't. So I'm not adding DLC to this. So Security Breach, let's talk about that real quick. I have played it a lot, and a lot of people love it. It is also one of the few games that actually introduces free roam. It is one of the few games that Steel Wool that they have made. Unfortunately, though, due to it being released with a lot of bugs that were revealed, and even to the point where a lot of people complained about it, even the great Markiplier had to deal with a lot of the issues with it. It is not awful, but it could be a lot better, which is why FNAF Security Breach goes under the could be better tier. So with that said though, that's when things begin to take another turn. FNAF Into the Pit was coming in. It introduced more of a retro style game that not many people have seen from Five Nights at Freddy's in a long time. It also kind of reminds people of, the old style games in 8-bit, but it's more faster and more modern paced. It also introduced more of the horror theme and brings more of a scary reality of 1985, where not to begin to go down his path of doom. With that said, Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit, despite the multiple endings, is under the great tier of games. Now, FNAF Help Wanted 2, I have not played it yet, so my review is not going to be much help. However, based on what I'm hearing, it focuses on the Sis location and the other games after Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 4 with a little bit of Sis location. So I can't really put it anywhere else other than I avoid seeing gameplay. I'm going to put it under the could be better tier for now. This will probably change. Who knows? So, outside of DLC, what other games do you think should have been on this list? Am I right? Am I wrong? You decide. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list that I have helped, basically add on to it because I just add on to it. I'll see you next time. God bless you, rock. Don't forget it.